We now come to the second type of loop offered by the shell, which is called the for loop. And as I mentioned before, this is actually unlike any for loop that you'll find in a regular programming language like C or Pascal or something like that. So let's have a look at how it works. The way the for loop works is it causes one variable to be set to a given sequence of values. That's the premise behind the for loop: set a variable to a given sequence of values and then execute the code block once for each value. And it looks like this. This is a little example. If you had a variable called var1 and you could set it to a range of values: bread, meat, dairy, vegetables, fruit, 5 different values there. And then you've got the do done, which surround the code block. The code block can of course be as many lines of code as you like. And then you can echo out one of the main food groups is, in this case, var1, which would be first time through the loop it would be bread, second time through it would be meat and dairy, and it would go through the loop exactly 5 times, and the 5th one would be fruit, and then it would finish. So it's actually a pretty simple construct. Notice the use of the word in there. I'll show you one very common use of the for loop. It's actually often used to run through a series of file names. And the reason for that is you can actually use wildcards to specify the different values that the variable might take. In this example here that I'm showing you, I'm using the asterisk. So the variable fname will take, in turn, one value that represents each of the star.txt files in the current directory. So if there are 10 txt files, then you'll go through the loop 10 times. If there's one, then you'll go through it once, and if there are none, then you'll actually go through it once. And the value that you will have for fname as you go through will actually be star.txt. You might wonder why that is. It's not some feature of the for loop. That's what the shell does with its wildcard expansion if it can't find anything to match. It just leaves it as it is. So in this particular loop we are simply testing to see whether the file has a size, whether it is non-zero bytes in size, and if it is non-zero, then we're going to copy it to theoretically a directory called backups. So that's pretty much it for the for loop. As you can see, it's just as simple as the while loop, but it works in a slightly different way.